All right, so happy Easter, everyone. I know that this holiday you probably just would want to focus on time with your family. Um, so, um, just to say that since it's a holiday, if you've already did the work, you've did the work. Um, if you're going to take time to pay attention to my announcements, which you should always be prioritizing once they come up, then you're going to get the rewards for it. I am fine if you turn in the assignment in the morning. Okay. Um, that may not help some of you who are working, but at least it's something, right? So I hope that you get to enjoy your holiday. For some, it's simply a secular holiday, and for others, it's a spiritual one. So I wish you the best on whichever approach that you're taking with it. And then if it's just an excuse to hang out with friends and family, that's a good excuse. It's fine. So, anyhow, just to say that you'll notice that we are going into World War I and the Roaring Twenties after. I just have a documentary for the second session. And I think you'll notice that I've been trying to mix up each week since we're covering so much that I think can help kind of balance out a kind of mental overload while I'm still committing to my professional obligations and my educational obligations to help expose you to the content of each section in a sufficient way. Okay, um, the textbook you should at least be looking at. I do everything predicated on the idea, but ultimately you're the one that's giving yourself more education or less, and you know how you operate. You know whether your brain is just kind of on overload or that you can get more out of something. Okay, and so um, you know how much you're going to read is how much you're going to read, right? Okay, now we also have our first exam, and you'll notice that I left very clear instructions on what I'm wanting you to do. Um, I would like you to, so you have a lot more writing than you normally do. I need to fix this and write this down, but I don't have how many, I didn't say how many pages it should be. Um, Ultimately, I am not going to actually uh, tell you how many pages it should be, actually. Don't concentrate on that. Concentrate on making a substantial paper for me. But it should be good. Remember, I'm giving you 25 points for it. You can write one page for a 15-point uh, um, total page on a Sunday routine. Okay? So you need to put some meat into this one. It needs to be thought out. Now, um, having said that, um, it's 25 points. In case you haven't noticed, you're making a lot of points more than that just on your notes every week. My class, as I've mentioned before, the secret to success is keeping up with our intense workload, not stressing out about exams or quizzes. Okay, that's just my approach that I take as a professor. Everyone's got a different theory on that. But, it's going to be up to you. I'm grading this 25 points. Some of you may feel like you can be a little bit lax on this and still be fine with your grade. I'm going to notice, a lot of you may think that I don't read your material because I don't leave a lot of comments. Well, I do. And some of you notice when I see something that I need to address or correct, that's what I do. So I am looking at your work, okay? And for this exam, I'm really going to want to see you demonstrate, that you have some knowledge on the material. So I'm asking you if what we've talked about thus far has reinforced ideas that you already have, given you more information, or it's changed them. Now, if information is changed, that's probably easier for you to write about because you can simply say, I used to believe X, Y, or Z. And after studying, what did you study? Now, this is your opportunity to demonstrate what you learned. Then you tell me when I saw this particular event and this particular time with this particular set of government leaders, and the name of this union or not, or this mayor or not, like whatever is like being like that event that influences you, you address that, and then you talk about why that made you change your opinion. Okay, so I just want to see you show that you know, the idea is to demonstrate an educated opinion on something. And if you reinforced, maybe you could say, look, I've always felt this way about unions, that they're bad or good. Okay, for example, and let me lay out all these reasons why, which is just reconfirmed why I have my opinion about them. Or I believe in capitalism despite all of its problems, and here's why. And then, you know, you could say things like this, like, let's say that you want to do pro-capitalism. You say, I've always believed that this is the best system. Now, despite, and you can like list off all of these uprisings of labor, child labor, discuss some of the people involved with that, and you say, despite all of those things, what ends up happening is that America is still in a better position, and why are they in a better position? And then you lay out whatever you think is reinforcing that within the context of what we studied. And I mentioned I don't mind if you go to outside sources. Like, for instance, if you wanted to say that, you know, you justified capitalism for this reason, and then you want to throw an outside modern source, try to find something, a quality academic source, please, you know, all right? And then you say that, you know, you want to reinforce it, then that's fine. And so in other words, ultimately what I'm looking for is that you're demonstrating knowledge of the material covered. That's the first priority I'm doing, because this is a history class. My exam is saying, are you learning history, right? Okay. And then I'm letting you have an opportunity to state your case. You want to make an anti-capitalist case, you want to mix it up, but ultimately you're working within that context. And what I'm looking for is not so much your opinion, but I enjoy seeing someone make a strong case in a clear-cut and concise way on whatever position they have. But I'm looking to see content. And if you notice how I'm grading now, I'm actually an easy grader, especially when I'm seeing you just follow my formula. So that's also why I don't put a lot of commentaries for a lot of you, is I just look and I see like, oh, I asked you to address something, demonstrate that you know it, and I'm seeing that that's happening. Thank you. Good. Here's your points. Ta-da! Okay. If I was just grading without looking, I would be getting your papers done a lot quicker and having much more free time in my life. That's not the case. Okay, so but if you are concerned about what's going to be on your how your grade's going to be on your exam, or what to write on the exam, as I put in the notes there, don't call me the last day. You guys know I have another job. I also have a child who's increasingly independent because she's going to be 18 this April, but you know, and I sort of have a personal life, barely right now, but I do. So, you know, inevitably people start calling me, you know, I'll have an exam and it's like 10 o'clock at night and they're trying to get the midnight thing down. And I literally get texts at 10 at night. Now that's fine. Okay. But if I don't reply, don't, you know, I may not be available at 10 o'clock on the night that the exam is available. If I'm up and I'm watching Game of Thrones or something like that, like cool, you know, I guess I might answer. Okay. But it would be in your best interest to you know, start a little bit earlier on anything like that. And I want you to be persistent about trying to contact me. I've had one student that I didn't get to. I get a lot of more phone calls and texts these days. And every once in a while, I thought that I got back to somebody and I didn't. So be persistent. I'm never ignoring you. It shouldn't take more than 2 days for me to get a hold of you. And if it is, something went wrong on my end, if that's the case. Okay? So that's it. And I'll be seeing you this week.